Right, we are live now, and 5 September 2020, and I'm joined by Mr. Khaliphani Phugeni, spokesman for the MDC-T. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. Good evening to you, and good evening to the listeners, wherever they are. We must take judicial notice of the win by Sundowns today, their 10th ABSA Premiership. Very excited, very, very excited. It looked impossible. We needed 5 goals. We didn't need them at the end of the day, and tough luck to Kaizer Chiefs. But wow, what I didn't get to watch the game. As you know, I was in church. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so when after sunset and I had to learn what happened, I couldn't be more excited.
Fantastic. And so we need to be quick, because obviously the connection in Zimbabwe is not very good, and I want us to cover as many issues as possible. So let's go straight into this.
No. You can't say that. There's nothing wrong with this connection. We are talking right now. Nothing is threatening this broadcast. So I take exception to people blacklisting my country like that. There's nothing wrong with this connection. This connection is perfect.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's start with the issues, right? And I want us to get answers for the people.
Okay.
The first question I want to ask you is, there was a leaked audio which was released last week, and you were speaking to someone on the phone, and you said a lot of things on that audio. Is that you speaking on the audio, or was that a doctored audio?
Okay. This is one thing I needed to start with. I needed to offer my unqualified apology to Dr. Douglas Tokarase Mwonzora, the party at large, and the generality of Zimbabweans and everyone across the globe that normally watches me, especially in your platform and all the other platforms. That was my voice. That was me. I was not talking to one person. I was talking to a group of top leadership in our party. I allowed the pressures of the job and the misinformation campaign, which was played around me, to be caught offside in the manner I was. But I'm happy about one thing: I never lied about anything. So when the leadership spoke to me about it, I told them my frustrations. My frustrations was to see people being abused tribally in the manner it was going, and the never-ending violence or threats of violence that were going on. But I understand that it painted Dr. Mwonzora in a bad light. It gave the impression that he's the instigator, he's the coordinator, he's behind it. And I met him on Monday, by the way. I met the president Monday morning for the first time after the incident. And I told her that I subject myself to whatever the leadership deems fit. And then in the evening of the same Monday, I met Dr. Mwonzora. I went to his house. I knelt down and apologized to him. He was gracious, said, no, Phugeni, come up. And we went into his room. We sat in one of his rooms there. We discussed, and it was clear that this is so painful to him. He should never be burdened with explanation of is he a tribalist? Is he mobilizing people around tribalism? Is he violently mobilizing people for his campaign? So I told him that I'll definitely do that. I will communicate that he is not that type of a person, and that he will do more to really shun and cut off from those that are using tribalism and violence as a tool or means of political mobilization.
Okay. One of the things you said was that Dr. Mwonzora is not fit as a leader. Do you withdraw that statement?
No, look, I think you were going to appreciate, you realize that I dealt with the substantive issues. Everything else there, like I said, it was really over dealing with the pressures of the job and a well-calculated and coordinated campaign. I think if you were in doubt of his capacity or capabilities, you would have watched him in that exercise in political speech, really. That was done, I think it's 2 days ago, by Dr. Ibo Mandaza. You saw Dr. Mwonzora was crowded there by a bunch of alliance publicists who were pretending as if they are legal experts. And you saw him teaching them what the law is all about. You would have seen him. I mean, he gave them one statement which they couldn't apprehend. Even up to now, they didn't get it. This is what he said to Dr. Makaisa. He said to him, "We are not in COPAC 2." And they never understood what he meant. Basically, what he was telling them was that we are not writing a new constitution, or we're not rewriting or redrafting the constitution. This is the constitution, and we all have an obligation towards it. In short, he was simply saying, if we did not recall these people who have publicly disassociated with the party or have joined another party, we'll be breaking the law. And you know us, we are a party of constitutionalism. So no, I think everyone who has watched him, everyone who has listened to him is aware of his capacity and capabilities.
Okay, so do you think the MDC-T is still intact? Should people have confidence in the MDC-T? I asked you this question before.
No, of course. Look, I've had people talk to me after the incidents, and of course, there's been and understandable so people were a bit disappointed, but they've appreciated the explanation, and they understand that these things happen in any normal family. You know that even in your own family, you do get some disagreements. Sometimes they get out of hand, but I spent the whole week with Dr. Mwonzora, by the way, the whole week. On Monday, as I said, I was in his house. On Tuesday, we went to see the deputy head of the American embassy. On Wednesday, we met the Botswana ambassador. On Thursday, we met the UK, the British ambassador. On Friday, we were together at a standing committee meeting. So yes, you can have confidence in us as they've had before. We have actually shown maturity. These things do happen, and it's unfortunate that they did happen to us at a critical time such as this.
Don't you think you should do the right thing and step down after what has happened for the sake of the party?
The right thing and step down over what?
Well, you said so many things in that audio, which I think they are almost irreversible.
No, but there's a point.
In the way you attacked Douglas Mwonzora.
No, but there's a point that you are missing. First of all, as you correctly say, that was a private conversation. Unfortunately, one of the participants there had people around them, and I don't know why they allowed that to happen. And one of those people around them recorded that conversation. I'm not sure if that constitutes an attack, because I've already told you that there's violence, that's a fact. Tribalism, that's a fact, right? So I was sitting here And I was saying there is a campaign, because I wasn't talking about him in person. I was talking about a campaign. And we did agree that whoever is running, at least we must make sure that, because you see in campaigns, you have people that are just overzealous. They insert themselves and they do things on behalf of other people, really uninvited. And that is what was behind that. But just to answer you, I did say to Madam President, whatever the leadership deems appropriate, I will do it. And it's clear that we are not there yet. It's people like you who want to weaken this movement by asking me to step down. I was with Dr. Mwonzora on Monday, and he didn't get where you are.
Okay, the reason why I'm saying so is you are making very serious allegations of tribalism, of weak leadership, of violence, and yet you're associating yourself with the same people. You don't want to disassociate yourself. And yet this is the very same reason why MDC-T is saying MDC Alliance is not the right party. The very same thing you're accusing Dr. Mwonzora of is the same things you are accusing MDC Alliance of.
No, but you are imposing a narrative on me. You have to go and listen to that audio. I did not talk about him on the specific matters you have raised. I spoke of a campaign, and these things are there in the public domain. So I did not make up things. I spoke of a campaign. It's unfortunate that the public and the media at large, because especially the media, because you are after headlines, you see. So you went direct at him, but you go and listen to that audio. I spoke of a campaign, and it's true. You can check as late as I think Wednesday or so. There's a guy whom Dr. Tsvangirai fired from the party. His name is Boaz, and you would have seen the type of letter which he wrote. He glorifies violence. He magnifies tribalism. So if you're speaking of a campaign that is doing that, that's not an allegation. It's truth. It's there. You have the charts. I've been interviewed about it. I've been interviewed about violence. So we simply said, we agreed on this one. And he actually said it to me. He said, Phugeni, tribalism, violence takes away votes from me. There is no way I can tolerate this in my name. So basically, I'm saying to you, we agreed that we will make sure that in these campaigns, we do not entertain by maybe almost muted rebuke or rebuttal of people doing things in our names. That's basically what we agreed and spoke about.
Okay, the final question I want to ask you on this topic is with regards to Dr. Mwonzora's leadership skills. There is a statement you said that he's not even fit to lead a burial society. Do you believe that?
No, but you see, that is where you are being unfair, because I've already told you that there were things that were said as a result of the pressures of the job and what was happening at that time. And I've told you that he amply displayed his capacity in front of a group of so-called legal specialists, including a Professor Thuli Madonsela, brought into this country under the pretext of this whole United Africa and SADC and whatsoever, only to come and impugn our judiciary. You see, it's only Dr. Mwonzora who stood up there and defended not only the party, but the country. And I must also give credit to Honorable Mangwana. So, and I've said to you, you just have to go there just to see the capacity of the man. I said that at the start of this interview, that he distinguished himself. And how amazing it was that at the end of the day, it was those two who co-chaired that constitutional making process that eventually came up for the country and defended our judiciary against an onslaught from that chat that happened. I think it's on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, let me tell you my view on, and the view of many Zimbabweans. After listening to that audio, the feeling that many Zimbabweans got was that you yourself as MDC-T, you are in it together just to destroy MDC-T, but you are actually not there for any other purpose. Because the issues you raised are so deep, and I think you cannot say it's over. Can you really say when you sit around the table, you finalize this issue?
No, but you see, the statement you've just made doesn't make sense. You can't say we're in it to destroy the MDC-T. Why will we destroy the MDC-T? We're not destroying the MDC-T. If anything, we're defending the values of the MDC-T. So you can't say we're in it to destroy the MDC-T. To what end? Why would we destroy the MDC-T? We've gone at great lengths to defend the MDC-T brand, which was being taken away by the MDC Alliance, which is a front for the ZANU-PF G40 grouping.
So what exactly does MDC-T do? What policy position have you taken ever since you came together, besides removing the MDC Alliance MPs? What policy position, what thing have you opposed from what the MDC Alliance was doing?
Yeah, but you see, number one, I think then you have not been in this country, or you have not been following. The challenge that I have, especially with much of private media in this country, is that you take a narrative from the MDC Alliance and you run with it as if it's the truth. And then even as you interact with us from the prism of that narrative. I'll give you a case in point. A case in point is the MDC Alliance spokesperson, Mayoral. She writes their statement after the envoys could not meet them. And she puts a title there that says cancellation of a meeting. That's what she says, right? I write our own statement, and our own statement, I didn't speak of a cancellation. I spoke of a meeting with and then I went ahead to explain to people that with the meeting, this meeting has since been deferred, but the ambassador has assured us that indeed they want to meet us. That's what I said. Now, what do you guys do? The private media, and who's the lead person in this? Peter Ndoro, right? He's got my numbers, he's got everything, to the extent that he was confused about what I was saying. He could have asked me. No, he tweets there. He says the MDC-T welcomes the cancellation of their meeting. No, I didn't speak of a cancelled meeting. It's Mayoral who spoke of a cancelled meeting. And then he goes on to make a lot of assertions. He imposes them on us, which is not what I said. And I'm saying to you, you cannot judge us on the basis of what have we opposed the MDC Alliance on. It's not fair. That's not our platform. Has nothing to do with MDC Alliance. Our platform is about the people of Zimbabwe. I'll give you an example. When there was an issue in Luveve, I went and I dealt with that issue. I wrote a press statement and I got the mayor interacting with the residents. And you know that that issue has been solved now. Few weeks ago, I was also called by one of the vendors association in Bulawayo there. And they spoke to me, and that process is being handled now at a provincial level, where they are looking at the city council and how it deals with the vendors. Last week in Harare, I was also called by one of the residents association there. And their concern was the possibility of that Harare new mayor. And we had lengthy discussions around those issues. And their biggest concern was he's been involved in the parceling of council land. In fact, not even council land, yes, but wetlands to corporations and industry. And they were worried about that. And we're discussing that, and they were saying, how can you help us? And I was finding means and ways of assisting them. Now, I can go on the whole day telling you how many stakeholders I meet. I meet private operators of our transport network. You know that almost everyone now is under ZUPCO. And they were saying to me, can you pass a message to the president, because we do not think that he gets this message, that as things stand right now, we are being paid $8. We are being paid $8 for our operations, and that money doesn't come quickly. It takes months for it to be processed. I have been meeting with so many different organizations because they know that the MDC-T is their voice. They know that the MDC-T is their champion. So the narrative of you, the media, is not backed by reality. That's not what we experience. I also hear people saying people were not consulted when they are recalling these MPs, people are left out and all those things. You, of all people, you know how much, in this case, my going to parliament has been welcomed. You know that. You know how many people have been coming and saying, please, and I said, no, but I don't have the platform yet. I'm about to have a platform. So all these things are not even anecdotal. You're just throwing out there a malicious propaganda talking points of the alliance, and then you want to judge us or hold us accountable to a malicious narrative against us. I reject it.
Okay, let me give you an example. There are important events that are taking place in the country for which the MDC-T has not responded. For example, there's the issue of land. I've not seen any response from the MDC-T on this issue, which is burning right now. There is the issue of the journalists that are arrested, Job Scala being arrested, Ngari Vume. All these issues, I've not seen the MDC-T speaking up. And these are important events.
Gambakwe, you are willfully ignorant. So I can't help you with that. Just last week, we released a statement on the issue of land. And our biggest issue has been, we see that we are compensating the white farmers. And it's provided for in our constitution. But how about the black farmers? They actually released a statement last week. How about the black farmers that were dispossessed of their land? How about the workers? Where is the compensation for the workers who lost their source of income when those white farms were taken away from the white farmers? We have made a statement. Now, you see, it speaks again to the point which I've raised. You are making the alliance the standard, and then you want to judge us. Tina, we're not into theatrics, my friend. No, we're not into theatrics. If you're going to deal with us, you must come for substance. So if Job Sikala is in his theatrics and then you want us to be dragged into that nonsense, I'm sorry, my friend. We are not interested in that. But as for Ngari Vume and Hopewell, we did speak. I did an interview with you and I spoke about it. I did an interview with Open Pal, and this is what I said, if you have forgotten. I said, I am worried about the denial or the incarceration of innocent Zimbabweans. I said that. And why I'm saying that, it's because before you are convicted by a competent court of law, you are presumed innocent. So why are we incarcerating for 45 days people who are presumed innocent in this country? It's a worrying trend. I raised that. Now, the other issue that worries us as a party, how do you take a Hopewell, you take a Ngari Vume to maximum security prison on that type of charges? If maybe you kept him at a police station in custody or in some prison, I would understand. But why maximum security? You see, so you can see that there is an abuse of processes and abuse of power by the powers that be. I have said that. But because we do not operate like Job operates, because he is involved in ZANU wars. Where was he found? He was found in the house of a ZANU PF person, that lady who was found with the flyers of the 31st. We are not involved in that thing. So no, don't drag us into rabbit holes. We're not interested in that, my friend. We are interested in providing solutions for this country. The alliance and largely the private media, you just want to create problems and bad publicity for this country. We want to provide solutions for this country. We are not part of your agenda. I am sorry about that.
Okay, South Africa, the AU, the EU, the embassies in Harare, they've all come out and said there's a crisis in Zimbabwe. The ANC has said there's a crisis in Zimbabwe. Do you believe that there's a crisis in Zimbabwe?
Of course, I live here. You see, and unlike most of these people who are making the noise, they are not here. I am here. You had just said the network is going to go down. The network is holding on. I told you, you see, it's one thing to make noise from outside because you are fed a certain narrative. It's another to experience what is going on. If I was advising the government or had some influence over the government, or if I had their ear, I would have told them that it's not a good thing to arrest Hopewell and keep him for 45 days. Same thing with Ngarivuma. I would have told them that. I would have told them maybe go to court, get an interdict against him tweeting or anything that is rated with the 31st or those type of things. It would have helped them, right? But the crisis that is here in Zimbabwe is an economic crisis. We had an economic crisis already, but it's made worse by COVID. And also it's made worse by some of the policies. But I am not sure how the AU, how SADC, and how South Africa then gets involved, at least at that level, at that economic crisis. Now, the other crisis that we face is these accusations and counter accusations of adoptions and then fake adoptions and all those things. And we have said that this issue needs to be investigated. It needs to be investigated thoroughly. And we say it in our letter when we are speaking about the meeting with the envoys. We said we hope that H.E. Ramaphosa and H.E. Mnangagwa will get to the bottom of these things. And you guys completely didn't understand what I was talking about. Because there's one thing which the country did not appreciate, and I can help you now appreciate it. You cannot do anything as far as these things are concerned here in Zimbabwe using South Africa without the cooperation of President Mnangagwa. You can't. Because the President Ramaphosa has no jurisdiction over Zimbabwe or over President Ramaphosa or over anything that happens in this country. So he is here to the extent that he is able to do anything. He will need the benevolence and the cooperation of President Mnangagwa. And we are not going to get that by shouting at him, by screaming at him, by insulting him, by denigrating him. And I didn't think I'll have to spell this out for anyone.
Okay, but are you saying all these bodies that I've mentioned, who say there's a crisis and there's need for dialogue, are wrong?
No. Look, maybe this is the point I'm making to you. The crisis which is being said by the alliance and largely the private media, and the crisis which we are talking about is completely two different things. You see, because the private media and the alliance, they are saying there is a political crisis which is giving birth to all the crises. And they're saying this political crisis is created by the fact that an election was stolen, you see? And I'm saying to you, that's an illusion. There's nothing like that. And because then they go further and say, as a result, let's create a TNA, NTA, National Transitional Authority, something which is not provided for in the Constitution, something which assumes that there was no election. So you're just going to pick up somebody and make them run the affairs of the country. How do they relate to elected officials? And how do you even get this government to accept that they need to step down for some unelected person?
Okay, so you're saying there's no political crisis in Zimbabwe?
No. what I'm saying to you, Gambakwe, I don't want to be boxed down into, are you saying this? Are you try and hear what I'm saying for its value? I am saying to you, the challenge we have is that we have people that have contested the legitimacy of a duly elected government. That's what I'm saying. Now, if we are going to go into an election, and this is very important, Gambakwe, by the way, this is very, very important. If you are going to go into an election fully aware of its rules, you can't change them after the fact or in the middle of an election. You can't. Right. So we went into that election. Remember, as MDCs, we had said in 2015, 2016, we had said without reforms, no elections. I'm sure you remember that campaign. And we said no reforms, no election. We went ahead to boycott all by-elections. We caused them, by the way, we caused the by-elections by withdrawing 21 MPs. And we went ahead to boycott those elections. And we said we are boycotting them because of reforms, right? Come 2018, we said we deem the environment to be conducive for a free and fair election. This is very important, my friend. We boycotted elections until 2018. In 2018, we said the environment has since improved and we can now hold a free election in this country. Now, I want you to take judicial notice of this. A month or so before the elections took place, Chamisa already questioned the legitimacy of the results in the event that he loses. He actually said the outcome will only be legitimate if it's him who has won. Now, I'm sure you can see how absurd that is. I mean, that's crazy. Now, you guys said nothing about that. So he was already setting up people, preparing people. He was actively involved in undermining our elections and the outcome thereof. We know that he lost that election. How do we know that? Because he went into a competent court of law. And that court of law said to him, bring us evidence, primary evidence. And he says, I want access to the ZEC server. That's not primary evidence. Primary evidence is the ballot, right? So the Chief Justice, Malaba, Honorable Malaba, says, okay, how about we open the ballot boxes? And this is what Chamisa says through Advocate Thabani Mpofu. He says, no, you can't open the ballot boxes. And the Chief Justice says, why? He says, because that's a poisoned well. Now, you and me know that there were 22 to 23 candidates, presidential candidates. Forget the MPs and the councillors. Let's just deal with the president, because that's the one that was contested. Those 23 candidates had election observers. For every ballot box, you needed those 23 people to sign. After those 23 people signed, you know what then they did? Then they had a sellotape stuck against those signatures. So if you needed, well, let me finish this point. If you needed to then change the vote of the people, in other words, open up the ballot box, you would have tampered with the 23 signatures, which means to then redo it, you will have needed to forge those 23 and then reseal the box. You see how stupid that sounds? To say that in the 10,000 polling stations to about 11,000 that the country has, there was that type of fraud in that a short space of time. When you get time, respect us, please.
Okay, I know that this is, we can go on for the whole night on this issue. So let's move on and handle this during the next episode. But I want to go to the issue of replacement of MPs and councillors. Do you think the process has been followed in the replacement of the MPs and the councillors?
You need to be more specific. What process are you talking about?
Okay, the people that were put into the positions, was the process of nominations and objections, was that followed by ZEC?
Of course. I mean, look, ZEC was in court, by the way, when the alliance was actually challenging and saying, we don't want these places filled up, right? The judgment came out, as you would know, and the judgment said ZEC can go ahead and fill up these places. This was in the High Court in Harare, I think about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, right? But ZEC did not stop there. ZEC went ahead and wrote a letter, an open letter, and updating the public that they have seen comments to the effect that ZEC can't do that. And ZEC said, no, really, if a vacancy has been declared, in other words, if Parliament communicates with ZEC and says there's a vacancy, ZEC has an obligation to fill that vacancy. And then the Electoral Act kicks in. It says to ZEC, ZEC must then invite the party that has to fill in the case of PR and senators. It must then invite that party. Then that party will then recommend names or submit the names to ZEC. And then ZEC will then gazette those names and then give the public 2 weeks to object to those names. And then if the objections are valid, then ZEC will advise the same party to bring a different candidate. But if the objections are not the ones that are contemplated by the law, then ZEC will go ahead to declare the selected or the recommended candidates duly elected.
Okay, so you are happy with the process, and very soon, let's say next week, Dr. Thokozani Kupe will be in Parliament and you will be in Senate.
Of course, because the process is beyond reproach, my friend. It's extremely beyond reproach. Their only hope, I saw that the alliance claimed that they got 300,000 objections. Look, they don't even have a membership list. They can't even keep a membership list of more than 20,000 people. So, you know, that's nonsense. But even if that was a reality, the law never contemplated a situation where you go and fetch for objections, where you go and solicit for objections. The law never anticipated that. But even if that was the case, the objections which the law anticipated or foresaw were objections of saying, no, Khaliphani Phugeni is a convicted criminal. He served a sentence of more than 6 months without the option of a fine, or he's a fraudster, or, you know, all those type of things. Now, you know that we've got, we are people of impeachable characters, and we are people of good standing in community and society. So all those objections of theirs, they will not meet the constitutional muster, unfortunate for them. So yes, you are correct. Within a short period of time, you may have to refer to me as Honorable Phugeni.
So I think we've covered this issue, although I'm not completely satisfied with how we've covered it. Let's talk again when you're now in Senate and see how the objections have gone, because obviously the objection process is still ongoing, so it's not concluded as yet. What is your comment on the council, the election, Harare City Council election for mayor, which the candidate who was being sponsored by Advocate Nelson Chamisa won, Mafume, against the one that your MDC-T was sponsoring?
Yeah, look, on the Harare mayor thing, we let ourselves down. And I must take this opportunity to apologize to our followers and residents of Zimbabwe. They deserved better. I've already told you this, one of the things when I arrived in Harare was to be called by different residents associations, and they were very much concerned about the prospect of his worship, Councillor Mafume. I must congratulate him, by the way. He fought a good fight, and he did well, and we We owe him all the cooperation and assistance which it deserves, because when Harare does well, the country does well. Outside the national government, the city of Harare is the next biggest government in the country. So, yeah, he will find us ready to cooperate and assist him. He must succeed in this job. And we are devoted and dedicated to make sure that he succeeds. And once again, congratulations, Your Worship, Mayor Jacob Mafume.
But many people say this shows that your side, MDC-T, led by Dr. Thokozani Kupe and Dr. Douglas Mwonzora, does not have any support at all on the ground.
Well, that statement is void of any serious logic or thinking. Now, I want you to look at how that vote happened. From nowhere, MDC-T, if we're to go according to you, we have no support. But Daily News captured this very well. It said His Worship won a tightly contested election. Now, if we don't have support on the ground, why was it tightly contested? Let me tell you how we lost this and why we lost this. Remember, we had won over 6 contests with the alliance. We've been going to court and winning over and over again. And we relaxed. We really let our guard down. We thought we've got a divine right to be winning. So you'll find that we didn't whip our caucus. You'll find that that caucus was there on its own. I was not there. The Secretary for Local Government was not there. The Secretary for Elections was not there. The Secretary General was not there. Whereas go to the alliance and see how many of them were there. Almost all of their top leadership was there, making sure that nothing goes wrong. So that is why I tendered that apology at the beginning of this section with regards to the mayorship. We did drop our ball down, considering that they had already told us that they want to put Jacob, His Worship, Jacob Mafume there, and they told us why they are doing that, because we cannot recall him, because we respect that agreement which we have, the alliance agreement. So we felt our people big time. We felt the people of Harare who had a meeting with me concerned about the prospects of His Worship Mayor Mafume winning. So yeah, it has nothing to do with what they are saying. If there was any logic to that, they would not have been in court now pleading that there be no by-elections, because it's the alliance that's saying they don't want by-elections. They're in court saying that. So we want by-elections, and we know that that we can win. But take nothing away from His Worship Mayor Mafume. He ran a good campaign, and congratulations to him.
Okay, so I think let us wrap up, and I want to quickly ask you 2 questions. What is happening with POLAD? That is the first question.
Okay, I do not know. You will appreciate that after the judgment, we've been seized with our in-house issues. So we took a break from POLAD while we were trying to organize for our EOC. So I do not know, but we wish them well. I know that they were gathered yesterday. So every now and then when I have an opportunity and I'm in Harare, I pass by their hotel and see them. But I am not informed enough to be able to give a comment about POLAD.
So at the moment, as we speak, MDC-T is not involved in any dialogue with Idi Mnangagwa.
No, we are proposing something to do. Maybe it's premature, but we've got some proposal on the table. Talk to me in a week or two's time. We have some proposal which we think will be acceptable not only to HE but also even to the generality of Zimbabwe, because we are always trying to find a solution for this country. This impasse, by the way, is not helping anyone. I see that others think they are profiting from the poison, this polarization that they think that they are drumming down people's throats. But I want to say this to you, Gambakwe. You cannot feed people so much polarization and expect that when you come to power, miraculously people will be united. No, it's not going to happen like that. So we are mindful of that. And our part is to try and unite this country as much as possible, because it is out of unity that we can prosper. But this division, it may seem to benefit a certain political party or a certain individual, but it's surely not for our benefit as a country. That is not to say that there are no things that we are very much concerned and worried about as far as the government is concerned. If that was the case, we wouldn't be in opposition. We're in opposition because we oppose this government on many of the issues. But it's just that our opposition is informed by that you can disagree without being disagreeable.
Okay. And then the final question that I have is to do with the Congress, Extraordinary Congress. When is that happening?
Well, you'll be happy to know that the Supreme Court has set down for hearing and decision of our variation application. They've set down the 1st of October for those two processes, hearing and also determining. So the 1st of October, we will be able to tell you when is it happening and all those things, because we will be guided by the outcome as will be pronounced by the Supreme Court on the 1st of October.
Right, Mr. Khaliphani Phugeni, spokesman for the MDC-T, led by Dr. Thokozani Kupe. And I think we have covered quite a lot of issues, but the time was not enough because obviously we can't cover everything.
I have not complained. I have not complained. I see we've just done 47 minutes. So you can ask me more questions. I'm here.
Yeah, the thing is, we need to digest the information that you've given us. Okay. And if we keep going, we will end up just going for the sake of it. I want us to close it now. And I can see the comments that are coming. People are not really liking the MDC-T. There's a lot of negative comments that are coming out. Why do you think people are not accepting that you are the real MDC?
No, it's fine. Rome was not built in a day. I always make this example for you, and I'll make it again here. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, came down to this world to save sinners, of which I'm a chief of them. He did his best, especially in the last 3.5 years after his baptism. And they agreed in one of his sermons, they said, never a man spake like this. That's what they said. But in few years' time, they were shouting to the top of their voices, crucify him. They did crucify him. It was the Roman soldier, not even the Jews. It was the Roman soldier, in this case, really a foreigner, who looked at Jesus hanging at that cross and he said, for truth, this was the Son of God. That's what he said. So now I'm saying to you, I would have been worried if I was here involved in some political public relations. No, I'm not involved in that. What I'm saying is the truth. And you know it. I have not deviated from the values, principles, character of the MDC-T. And even if you go to the National Constitution, the values that we stand for, they are espoused in that National Constitution. So if people reject this, I have nothing else to offer them. I am not up for populism. I am not going to make them happy about something which is not sustainable. There is nothing wrong in me saying, let us follow our constitutions. There is nothing wrong in me saying we should follow the rule of law. There's nothing wrong in me saying violence and tribalism must play no part in our political mobilization. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong in me saying we must be honest and truthful to our people. There's nothing wrong in being honorable. You heard me how I'm addressing his worship, Mayor Jacob Mafume. I'm addressing him as thus or as such because he has won an election. But every day I address H.E. Mnangagwa here in line with his office. I get insulted, I get called all sorts of names. But I can assure you, if Chamisa wakes up tomorrow elected the president of this country, I'll call him His Excellency, President Nelson Chamisa, but he hasn't so far. So I am guided by principles and values, and I'm consistent in that. That they do not like me for that is not an indictment on me, by the way. It's not reflecting bad on me, it's reflecting bad on them, not me, or the party which I represent.
Okay. And I think many people would like to know if there's any negotiation between yourself, MDC-T, with MDC Alliance, or is there a prospect?
Yeah, prospects are always there. And of course, I think everybody knows that it will take a united opposition to unseat ZANU-PF. You've heard what I've just said to you. His worship, Mayor Jacob Mafume, will get all the necessary assistance he needs from us. Now, if our parties are so polarized that there can be no cooperation, he can get hold of me. At least I know he's an Adventist. I'm an Adventist. Our Secretary for Local Government, Honorable Chiondekwa, is an Adventist. The leader of that caucus in that council, Councillor Mkunkuma, is also an Adventist. So we can do an Adventist man thing. He will get our cooperation because he must succeed. So I'm saying to you, it is that same spirit which I carry as far as the fight between the two formations. We need to find each other at some stage if ever we stand a chance to unseating ZANU-PF.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khaliphani Phugeni. I think that would be music to the ears of many people. Many MDC supporters are hating because of the division and the infighting, which is making no sense at all. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
No, I would say this. This is informed by what you have just said to me. Is that in whatever we do as a country, I think we must not look for quick solutions. If you build your house on a sand, you will quickly finish. And from outside, it will look great and good, but we know that when the storms come, it will not survive. But if you are to build your house on a rock, it will take you time, it will take you labor, you will struggle, you will sweat, but when the storms come, nothing will happen. So I want to say to Zimbabweans, we need to think long and hard about what it is that we want as a country. I was disappointed, I must say, my friend, Gambakwe, your interview with Jonas, when he threatened to beat Chamisa, I felt a chill. There's no reason. There's basically no reason. We shouldn't be beating each other in this politics. We must persuade each other with superior logic. If we can't persuade each other, there's no reason for beating each other. That's number one. Number two, I was disappointed when he seemed to abuse the Honorable Mahere through her looks, you know, talking about she's got time to put lashes and, you know, all those things. I didn't feel comfortable about all of that. I think we can disagree, but we don't need to be that personal and that I really ran out of words to describe, but it left a chill in me. We don't need all of that. What we need to do is we need to differ in terms of how we can take this country forward. But we need to accept that we all want to take this country forward. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take this country forward. And as the electorate, we probably have to be asking ourselves a question: who amongst these people seems to have a better plan to take this country forward? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Khaliphani Phugeni. And we have weekly discussions, which I've also tried to reach out to the MDC Alliance. I've offered them this chance to come here and talk to us, but I've not had any success as yet. So I'll keep trying to get everyone here on the platform. It's important for us to get both sides of the story. There are many people. We don't necessarily have to have the spokesman. There are many people in the MDC Alliance who have the opportunity to speak here.
Yeah, but to their defense, you will struggle if we are seemingly providing a platform where they are threatened to be beaten, and you don't push back or seem to defend them, where their spokesperson is abused in the manner which I've just described, and we are not defending. So they will obviously think that you are involved in that. So maybe you need to show them that you will defend them when they are unfairly attacked. In that manner, you'll probably be able to persuade them to come.
I think that is a discussion for another day. I am a believer in freedom of speech. I believe that if someone has a view, it's not my job to stop them from saying it. If they say it, they are responsible for what they've said. But it's not, I don't hold the same views as all my guests. So if I give Jonasi a platform, it doesn't mean I agree with everything Jonas says.
No, I'm happy with his views. I'm just pointing out specific issues. I'm going to beat Chamisa by end of September. That's not correct. Talking about makeup of my hair, that's not correct. That's the point that I'm raising. Everything else I don't have a problem with. So at least flag that and say my platform is not going to be about beating people. My platform is not going to be about women's makeup. That's the point that I'm raising. Everything else, I'm fine with it. So I'm saying, because you've said you are struggling to get them on the platform, and I'm saying if they see your platform as a platform used to threaten them or a platform to mock them, they will not come. That's the point that I'm making to you. And that is different. And that is different from curtailing free speech, because the freedom to free speech does not supersede the right to dignity, or rather the right to free speech does not supersede the right to dignity of other people. So whatever our speech is, it must not infringe on other people's dignity.
Okay. I've seen Dr. Mwonzora on Zimbabwe, but he has received a lot of abuse from Zimbabwe, but he has gone there and made his point, regardless of everything else that has happened.
Yeah, because MDC-T, my friend, we are God's gift to Zimbabwe. You will thank us later. Right now, you don't appreciate us. It's fine. It's fine. When we have set this country on fire, you will wish you listened to us. We are a different breed altogether. So you expect us. I come here. I go everywhere, by the way, also, just like Dr. Mwonzora does. We go everywhere because we are different. I was just trying to give you the reasons which I think probably keeps them away from your interviews. But yes, Dr. Mwonzora will go anywhere because he's an MDC-T leader. In MDC-T, we want to build this country. We are not involved in cults. We are not involved in all these other things. We are building this country, and we'll do everything humanly possible to help this country move forward. Like I said to you, you are going to thank us later. Right now, you don't appreciate us. It's fine, but you will thank us later.
Right. Mr. Khaliphani Phugeni, you'll be happy to see that the last comment we have here is from Perpetua Muringani. And she says to you, keep your values and integrity. That is principled. And I think you'll be happy with that comment.
On that note, let us close this interview.
Thank you very much, sir. And to everyone else who's watching on Facebook and on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back again with Mr. Khaliphani Phugeni next week, Saturday, same time. And if you want to be on the platform, you know my number is there on gambakwe.com. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you very much, all the viewers.
Thank you.